Greetings, it is I, Susie Q. What's showing up in your field, lighting you up, turning you on, and illuminating the goodness in your field. It's super fun. Super awesome. So this morning I was on a really cool coaching call back from Linda Starr back in Houston with my little tribe. So I'm still doing some of those calls with her because, a lot of times when we are looking at getting more guidance or more sense of awareness of what we can do different to expand our consciousness, to grow in a deeper and more beautiful way, is that we have some of our helpers. And so, even on the call today, I noticed that a couple things came up for me because she does these teachings, and then I started noticing that there were some practices that she was sharing or some effective action that she was sharing. And then I've got two practices that kind of relate to some of the work that she does. And of course, each one of us has a different way of looking at things. And so, what I'd like to talk about is these two gentle, beautiful practices. And the first one is in the mornings. When I wake up in the morning, I take a little bit of time to just kind of just be still. I'm still awake and I don't have anything, no midline. Everything is completely perfect. So there's nothing crossing the midline of the body. And I'm just simply laying on my back and just kind of noticing how my body is operating. If there's anything showing up in the body, I might start asking for some guidance to maybe clear it or to give me some information about what I could do to have a better experience with the body. Oftentimes, oftentimes, I have little opportunities to do, my own adjustment with some of my neck, sometimes my ankles or my knees or my shoulders. So even in that morning time, when I'm really accessing the messages of the body, is I just start really talking to the body. Hey, body! And I just start accessing what would be the next best thing for me to feel better? And oftentimes, again, like I said, is that a lot of times some of those areas are just adjusting normally. They just adjust and get back into more balance and more harmonization with the body. And so that early morning is when I get to do that. And even if I just notice something kind of funny, or like my neck or shoulders or something, I just kind of ask my subconscious or source or God, or every morning it's like something different, right? Like sometimes it's just my subconscious. Can you go in and assist with clearing some of the stuff, some of these physical patterns that are showing up? Can you please clear it for me, right? Oftentimes it does start working out pretty quickly. It's pretty amazing. So that's that first practice. It's the earliest that you wake up in the morning. You don't get up, you don't jump out of bed yet. You just do a little meditation and just start accessing, and like almost as if you're doing a body scan, checking the body and seeing if there's anything that's lighting up that's saying, hey people, wake up people. What are we going to do when something starts showing up in the body? And so what I love it is it's like a meditation. So we just kind of look at it and go, I'm just going to put it out there. Can we please heal these areas of the body that, after sleeping, 8 or 9 hours or whatever, is that I just want to feel better in my body when I'm ready to get up off the bed and start moving forward for the day. So that's that first practice, is really honoring your beautiful divinity, your beautiful sovereign self, and just really acknowledging that which is happening within the body is also available to possibly have some sort of level of healing or lifting out or receding from some things that maybe are not quite comfortable in the body. And so the second one that I want to talk about today is my second meditation. So the first one is in the morning. It's all about the body. It's all going to see if we can get some more harmonious energies in some areas that may be kind of off a little bit. So, nobody wants that, right? The second meditation I do is right before I go to sleep. I go to bed. I'm still kind of in that position where there's nothing crossing the midline of my body. I'm simply kind of laying there flat, flat. And then with that, my meditation in the evening is more about the ask. And so you start asking questions. And I also have an acronym for it. Is ask is authentic spiritual knowledge. And so what I do with the ask, and it could be a prayer or a blessing, or kind of acting, asking for guidance, for from the higher realms or spirit or God or source or your angels, whatever it is, right? Is that we start working with the ask, the the authentic spiritual knowledge. And what I do normally with that practice, it's a little bit different than the morning practice, which is clearing and accessing the body points in the morning. But this one is different. I think a thought and then I put something out. It's kind of like, can you please clear something with my neck? What is the next best thing for me that's coming up for my life? And these are things that I don't say out loud, but these might be things I'm asking, like what would be the next step for me? What would be the best approach for me to have a better relationship with myself or with others? What would be the best place for me to go for a trip or to expand some different ways with my things that I teach and some of the education stuff that I do? Or what is it with the QHHT? What else do I need to know about quantum healing hypnosis technique that will really, really help people and also support me with, just getting more guidance on the best way to approach folks when they're in these sessions with QHHT. So that's what I do is at the night, I just do the ask. And when I do these ask, or I ask any kind of question to source or God or, to the cat down the street, right, is that we start just allowing that ask to be enough. Sometimes we're like, okay, I asked, now what? It doesn't work that way for myself. What I notice is that when I'm working with the ask, the authentic spiritual knowledge, is I'm putting the energy out there. And when I put the energy out there, right before I go to sleep, is I just start accessing and feeling the emotions of what it would be. How good can it get, right? Once we already have attained that we're seeking with the ask. And so that the emotional response is so powerful because it has a way of just kind of setting the tone or just creating a space, a space for this possibility, probability. And the more that we think about it, the more that we give life to it, the more that we give the feeling tone, that bhavana. It feels so good with what I'm experiencing now, even though it hasn't happened just yet, but we're still, feeling that energy. And so when we do the ask, we put it out there and we don't say, hey people, what's the answer? What's the answer? When are you going to give it to me? It's not like that. It simply is this presence that what you're putting out, it could be a vortex over here, a portal over here, or something else over here that's going to be assisting you at the right time. And so whenever we do the ask, some people are like, let me write down my questions in like a notebook and let me see if I got the answers yet. It doesn't really work that way for myself, right? But I do love to have those two meditative states, the one in the morning about the body scan and clearing anything that it can possibly be kind of released from that time of slumber. And it could be like I said, the adjustments, or maybe I've got to kind of recalibrate something with a dream state, maybe a lucid dream. So even with that body scan in the morning, the dream state might come in. And with the dream state or that lucidity is I might get some guidance for the day or for the weeks ahead. So those are some really neat things when we look at that. And also with that nighttime, that nightscape, when you're just constantly, just feeling the breath of life, you're still awake. You're not really, you may be sleepy, but you're still awake. And then you start it through your thinking mind. You might just start asking these questions. And the best thing to do, I think, is just keep it real simple. Like, what will I be doing tomorrow? What amazing thing can I do for another person tomorrow? What is illuminating my future endeavors? What might that look like, And how amazing would it be? And when will that happen? Sometimes we ask these, when will it happen? A lot of times the energies are just waiting for you, to really step into it. So the more that you step into these energies, even if it's like a sankapa or a precognitive or energy precedes thought, is that with that ask, the authentic spiritual knowledge, is we have opportunities to really ask the questions, to be honest, and keep the questions simple too. Sometimes it's like so long. It's like, let me give you a paragraph about what I want, what I need, and all this. So those are two simple practices that I do in the morning and I do at night before I go to bed. And these are great times to kind of contemplate on, where you're at, what you're doing, and what you're seeking in your beautiful life. And there's so much goodness all around. We know that all that goodness and all that preciousness is always with us, but we just need to remember that that we're already kind of like sitting in this energy. So with whatever you're creating, whatever that you're kind of illuminating, that the preciousness of your own divinity, your own sovereign self, is just really acknowledge that a breath of life, that you can really speak to your own body, you can speak to your soul expression, you can speak to those higher realms at God's source, and really have a beautiful friendship and a beautiful kind of sense of love with these beautiful presences that are with us, and they're with us all the time. It's just super joyful and playful and wonderful. Anyway, so I think that's it. So this has been just kind of a quick conversation today, but these two practices, and maybe you have your own practices that make sense for you. And if you do, then just continue to do that, right? Just notice what you're noticing and notice it again, and then boom, boom, boom. The third time, you're really going to maybe start getting it. Sometimes we have to hear things so many times, or we have to see things so many times, and then every once in a while, you're like, okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. And this is what I've been getting, is these two meditative states, morning and at night. And it's been very, very beneficial, and it's real easy. There's like no right or wrong when you're doing this kind of these kind of meditations, or the ask, and the authentic spiritual knowledge. There's just nothing. There's no right or wrong, or no green or purple. It just is whatever your heart. When you work with that heart space is going to really assist with, reminding us of who and what we are, that we are beautiful co-creators, right? We are that. We are simply that. So with that being said, it's been super fun. Have a great day, and namaste.